Hi, and welcome back to Drawing for Reddit, the show where we search the subreddits for cool art prompts and draw them. Today, we're going to be looking at the subreddit I Can Draw That. Really like this one. It's got a lot of cool ideas on here and a lot less, hey, can you draw my profile picture? Saw some pretty cool ones. First of all, I saw this idea for a ghost or psychic type Vulpix. Awesome idea. Thought it was really cool and came so close to doing it until I saw this one. It's got two vampires, Marceline from Adventure Time and Alucard, I think, from Castlevania. Gotta be honest, don't really know anything about him aside from the pictures I've now seen on Google Images. But what really sold me on this, aside from vampires, which are awesome, was the Dark Souls theme. You're gonna see as I get working on this picture, it basically just becomes Dark Souls fan art. It's a lot less of the Adventure Time Castlevania, and so that's what really sold me on this, and let's get to it. Okay, first up we have the thumbnailing process. This is incredibly important, and I gotta be honest, I did not do it as well as I should have with this picture. Normally you would plan out a couple thumbnails, pick from the best of it, and have your idea firmly in your head before you get drawing. I did not do this. Essentially what I did was just take this picture right here and copy it into my own world. I had my reasons for doing this. I really wanted to push the Dark Souls, as I've already mentioned, and Firelink Shrine, and specifically this picture, is kind of iconic. Everyone knows it, and I really wanted that exactly. So, I mean, no crime there, but the lack of planning, especially with Alucard, I'm just gonna call him Al from here because I don't know if I'm saying that right, and I don't want to sound like an idiot. So especially with Al, I really didn't know what to do with him. The perspective got all wonky, and all of this could have been solved had I just taken a little bit more time in the thumbnailing process. So do not slack on this. When you're planning out your picture, plan it out properly. In this picture, it took me way longer than it ever reasonably should have, because I decided that I was going to try a million different things all in this one picture that I was trying to do on a time constraint. Not a good idea. Do not recommend it. There is 100% a time for experimentation, trying new techniques. You need to do it as an artist. You can't avoid that. However, when you're trying to get a piece done in a timely manner, that is not the time. I ended up spending, I don't know, I haven't looked at the footage yet, but a stupid amount of time. Not because this picture took that much time, but because I essentially did this picture like 3 different times because I just didn't know what I was doing. And so I'm going to show you, I'm just really going to quickly speed through and show you some of the many different techniques I tried. I did the background, which honestly I wish I could redo it, but I just didn't have time. I kind of kept it. It's essentially this two-tone, no line work, really not my style, not my comfort zone at all. Didn't look bad, however, once it got to right here where you can see I'm trying to do the characters in that same style, and I was going to add color, and I just got so lost, so confused. Eventually I gave it all up, completely erased it, restarted. And the mistake I made so many times in this, because I fell behind here, I kept trying to take shortcuts. I did not draw out a nice sketch and then ink over it cleanly. I just tried to go straight in, and based off of my crappy thumbnail, which is essentially no more than a stick man, I tried to do a nice beautiful line drawing over top of that. It didn't work. I reworked and reworked and reworked and reworked this drawing so many times, and that's just on her. It's not even talking about Al yet. And Al, oh my goodness, he had, I don't know what Al had. He was stupid. He's hiding off in the background, and then I tried to change how he's holding his sword, and then I tried to like have him posing like a playgirl. I don't know what's going on. And now he's up here, and he's still kind of posing like a playgirl. That's okay, Al, you do you. And you can see I just went through so much here because I didn't plan out the drawing. All of it could have been solved had I just paid more attention to what I was putting on my page, but no, I kept taking shortcuts, and it kept making my work longer, which is a very common theme. It's something I do all the time, and I just don't seem to learn. So don't be like me. Learn from my mistakes. Plan out your pictures. Get the reference you need. My goodness, if I could go back and change anything about this piece, it would be to get some reference. And something I do a lot, but not here, is take pictures of myself. I pose in the position I want, from the angle I want, set my camera on a timer. It doesn't have to be a good picture, just get the reference that you need. Had I done this, the perspective would have been right, the proportions would have been right, and it all would have been done so much quicker, it's ridiculous. All right, so moving on with our line work, and what I've been doing lately is this pencil brush thing. Makes it look like an actual pencil, which I think is really cool. If you see my sketchbooks, they're crazy sketchy, and I kind of like that look. A lot of people don't. I'm well aware it turns a lot of people off, and that's okay. I like it, and I'm really happy to have this in my work, so we're gonna keep trying it out for a while. So moving right along, one thing I would recommend if you're doing your own line work, try and be a little bit tidier with it. It's really easy when you're drawing to just go too fast and you make messy lines, or especially scratchy lines. That's really common with young artists. They just draw these little tiny baby lines, and then they try to turn it into this one line at the end, and it doesn't ever work. Try to draw one nice flowing consistent line. Looks way nicer. I recommend the G pen if you're using Clip Studio like me. It's really great for inking, and there's even a little button you can press that says adjust by speed, and what that's going to do is it'll adjust the stabilization. So if you slowly draw that nice perfect line you want, it'll smooth it out for you a little bit depending on what your settings are. Really helpful if you're trying to make nice, crisp, clean line work, which I'm clearly not trying to do here, but it's good, and I've done it and I've used it and it's wonderful. So as we're moving on here, we can see that our nice sexy vampire kings here, which is what they used to call me back in high school, coincidentally enough, he's looking pretty good. Proportions, as I mentioned before, a little bit off, but is it going to break the entire picture for what we're doing? No, it's not. And that's something I'm really trying to work on, and as artists, I think it's probably something that we all struggle with a little bit. Recognizing that not every piece needs to be your masterpiece, a phenomenal piece of artwork that's going to go down in history, because most of them aren't. And even the great people that have those works of art, most of their work wasn't. They only have those few select pieces, unless you're like Sargent, in which case, you know what, you're different. There's those few select pieces that everyone remembers, and that's all it is. And we need to get through all of our pieces to get to those few. And so that's what this is. Is it my masterpiece? Is it going to go down in history? No, but it's one of the ones that helped me get there. And so if you're ever having a piece that you're just really not loving, just finish it. Don't try to make it a masterpiece. Just finish it. Move on to your next one. That's good advice. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. Moving on to color. I have a pretty standard process I do. On one layer, I make one flat tone of gray, and I get everything that I want to do on that one layer. So what I mean by that in this case is Marceline, Al, and the bonfire. Those are my focal points. I want to color them all. So as you can see, I get it all in gray. And then what I'm going to do is take a whole entire folder, and I'm going to clip the folder onto the layer. In Clip Studio, there's a little tiny button at the top left on the layers panel. Should say apply clipping. And if you're in Photoshop, it's quite a bit easier. Just hover between two layers, hold Alt, and then click. And I'm pretty sure that's how you do it. I haven't used Photoshop in a little bit now. Anyways, what that's going to do is any layers that we make inside of that folder now, it'll be attached to our base layer. And so you can watch. I'm painting over on here, getting all the colors I want, and it's never going to go off that base gray that we've already made. So once we do that, we get our flat colors on. We apply a little color variation. Beautiful. It's wonderful. Multiply, overlay, hard light, all the layers, they're wonderful. Okay, so get our flats, get some slight color variation, apply some overlay. It's looking pretty good. Next, attached to the folder, we're going to have another layer that we're going to set to multiply and pick a nice blue tone. Eventually we're going to pick a nice blue tone. I really just had a lot of trouble picking everything for this piece. I was confused with the shadow. Should it be kind of a warm shadow because of the fire, or should the shadows be cooler because of the cool blue sky? Eventually what I settled on was cooler shadows, warmer lighting, which makes sense because the fire is what's lighting, and then the cool blue in the shadows. Makes sense, but sometimes it just takes a while to get there. And so we do that. I don't have too much to say about this process. I've done it so many times. It's really simple, and I think it creates really nice work. After we get our shadows down, boom, we start doing some polish. Polish is a lot of things. Polish is the overlays, polish is the rim light, polish is this little haze that I put around the lines. It can be a lot of fun. You can spend way too much time on it if you're not careful though. So do have fun with it, but also know when to call it quits. So in the end, it looks pretty good. The polish helped a lot, and I think it turned out to be a pretty nice picture. Definitely more on the Dark Souls side of things, but that's all right. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And tune into the next video where we're going to see how this does on Reddit. All right, until next time, see you later. I mean, it's line work. I don't really know what to say about the line work if I'm being honest. You draw lines and you try to make them look nice.